Hey, it's MK and I am back with another April Fooled You, and look at this mess, you guys. What a disaster. But today we are doing Thumbnail Thursday, which basically all month has been Thumbnail Thursday because I haven't made anything other than a few like subby hops that I've been participating in. I haven't really made any layouts at all. I think I made 2. Maybe 3 layouts, and oh, I also have done some layouts on a few Facebook Lives that I am in, but unfortunately they're private groups, so I apologize about that. Yeah, I do a few of those. So what do I have on this tray that is a disaster? I have my 7 things, and I did end up picking out some mini paper pads, and the only reason why I did is because of the fact that I will be using some dies to go with my blisters, and I was going to need paper to do that. So what I did was whatever matched my pocket cards, which was going to be my initial, like, that's all I'm going to use is pocket cards, but then I realized that I needed paper to die cut out my the dies that I am going to be doing, and so I have all of these right here, and I stuck with the kind of the mood and feel and tone of the pocket cards. So I picked out all my grays and browns, and then this piece, what does it have to do with it? It's got a whole bunch of browns in the back. And so I thought that if I ran out of this, this will be my backup, and I'll have some brown coffee mugs or cups, okay? So we'll start with this one first, and then I will go to this one if I need it. That was the intent there. Then my pocket cards are buried at the bottom. And basically it was this pocket card that brought it all together. This is the culprit and the reason why I started all of this, but I only have a few of this collection left. I mean, that's it. I have these ones here, which there's only 1 card in each. How do I open this? It's 1 card in each thing because I have dwindled down all of my pocket cards, you guys. I didn't keep 3 to 4 to 5 to 10 of all cards. I seriously, over the years, I did a whole bunch of swaps and, you know, thought I only need 1 of this card. I only need 1 of that card. Seriously, I don't need 6 of the same card. Now, I do have to say that, like this one here, I wished I would have had 2 of those because it's cool that the different ones, they're not the same on all the sides. So like this one here, loving every minute of this would go cool with what I had in mind, but then I have this one. So now I have to choose, do I want this one or do I want this one? It all depends. Do I want this one or do I want this one? It just all depends on what I'm going to be doing. Same with over here. I love this. It says good morning and then, you know, coffee. So I'm going to do a whole bunch of coffee related, whoop, not that side. I am going to do a whole bunch of coffee related cards today because I have a ton of blisters that are just nothing but coffee mugs and coffee cups. Okay, and next up are, so that was my mini paper pads, my pocket cards, mixed media. I don't have any. Again, I don't have any mixed media. Yeah, none whatsoever. But I do have all these sequins to fill in my shaker pockets. And next we have doilies and gears. For the doilies and gears, I chose the leftover doilies, they're upside down, that I did not use yesterday. And then there's also doilies printed throughout my pocket cards. So if you look, there's one here, and there's one there, there's one there, and there's one there. So they're all printed throughout my entire pocket card collection that I chose to dwindle down and absolutely get rid of. These are the dies and what the pocket or what the blisters are going to look like. So I'm moving right into the blisters next. I have a coffee mug and then I have a coffee cup as well. So I've got 2 of each. The best part is if I do end up not using the blisters anymore, the poke out for the blister is a separate die. So then I just have a mug or I just have a cup, which this one I have multiples of. So I think once the blisters are gone, I might pass this on in my destashing arsenal and include a few blisters into it so they get what the blisters are and what this is all for. But the thing is that, you know, I just really have no further use for these or any of the other ones that I have of these, and I think I have 5. I also have my 2 dice. Where did they go? They're right here. Sorry about that. 5 and 2. The 5 represents flair. I have 4 flair that are coffee related, except for this cupcake. But but it came in the kit. It came in this little set. There was actually a set of 6, and I've already used 2. And then tiny word stickers is what the 2 represents, and that is this one here. It is a pad that the front pocket, or the front ripped off. It's this right here. It's from Prima, and they're statement stickers. That's all it is. And so you could use the word by themselves, or you could use the word, you know, like create a sentence out of these words. It's pretty cool. And they come in 3 different colors: black, gold-ish, like a yellowy gold, and then this white. Okay, so I have those. What else? That's it. That's all I have. So I'm going to go to the die cut machine and start die cutting out all of these. I have 10 blisters here, 10 here, 5 that came with the pack, which I think I'm going to leave alone and just work here because 20 embellishments in total. That's a lot. So these are going to be very, very simple. Most of the work is going to go into making the shaker pockets. And other than that, it's just going to be uber simple, you guys. Seriously. Nothing to this at all. I just want to use up the stuff. That's it. Okay, let's get going. First thing that I'm going to do is start by pouring in the sequins into each little blister. And then once I empty about 2 bags of sequins, this one really didn't count because it was all one little set of sequins as it was. But then I'm going to empty out this bag right here and realize that I honestly should have put the outer image over the blisters first before filling them up with, forgot my words, with sequins. I apologize, you guys. I totally forgot what I was saying or thinking. And here is where I remembered that I needed to put the outside image on first. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to, you know, just put little teeny tiny bit of liquid adhesive. The one thing I don't want it to do is seep out and get all over my blister because I won't be able to erase it and it won't look clean looking. So I put a teeny tiny little bit of liquid adhesive on the outside of the image where the blister will go, and it glues beautifully, you guys. It's not like it's slick or anything like that. It takes really well. And then I'm going to finish filling up all of the blister cavities with the sequins. So I emptied out 2 bags already. Here is bag number 3, and I'm basically just trying to get out all the stars that are stuck inside the bag. And then I finally just give up because they're going everywhere and they're just all staticky. Yeah, that's me trying to flick them off my fingers. And then I will put in the rest of the sequins, which is kind of like large glitter. I should have maybe possibly put the sequins in first and then the glitter in the back, because honestly, when I flip these over, the sequin or the glitter-ish, like the hexagons and the squares, they stuck to my my blister and you can't see anything past them. And so, but the ones where I stuck the sequins in first and then the hexagons and squares, they stuck to the back of the blister rather than the front of the blister. So anyways, just a trial and error. It's okay. I like how it looks, to be honest. It's just, I wish that I would have been able to do something about the static part of it. I have seen people take their embossing powder pouch it things and rub it in there first. That's never worked for me, and then it always looks dirty. So I've never done that. I'm just going to finish really quickly with a couple. I'm not going to make you watch me do every single one of these. At least I don't think so, because there for a while I started cutting around every single one of them. Now the image is smaller than the blister itself because it is meant to go behind a card, and then you attach it to an entire card base rather than, hey, I'm, like an individual item. Where are my words tonight? I have no idea. So these aren't meant to be standalone little images like I am creating right now, but I happen to like the blisters a lot better, especially for scrapbooking when they are little standalones. And so what that just takes is a little bit of trimming around the blister and make it skinnier to match the image. It's not a big deal if you have good scissors, but if you have like rough, rigid scissors and you have to put a lot of pressure on, it might hurt your hand, just to let you know, because it is hard plastic. Anyways, I pulled out this label. No, it's not. I pulled out this tag that is in my label bin, and at first I put uplift and embrace the day. And then I thought, oh my gosh, that doesn't even sound like it makes sense. So I was kind of a little bit like, not really sure I want to keep that. So I changed the word from embrace to start. And it says uplift and start the day, because that's kind of what coffee does. It helps, people wake up and get going in the morning and things like that. I'm not really sure. I took a test. It was a self-motivated test that, I'm just going to stop drinking coffee. And I did it for 8 days while my husband was away on his hunting trip. And so I thought, you know what, I'm just not going to make coffee. I only make it for him anyways. And then I just have a cup with him. I've never really been a coffee drinker, to be honest. And I didn't feel like I needed it to start my day. I am a very hyper person as it is. So I think that I didn't really need the coffee. So I wanted to test it. And basically, instead of talking about what I'm doing, I'm going to talk about my little test because I can. And I didn't really feel like it did anything for me. I still had the same amount of energy. I still had the same amount of drive, as if, I had coffee versus I didn't have coffee. Nothing changed. I didn't get headaches. I didn't get anything. And so it was kind of like that weird, like, what does coffee really do? But I guess it's different for everybody. So I'm not going to judge. I'm just letting you guys know that, I stopped drinking it for 8 days and no ill side effects whatsoever. So basically what I did was I took that ampersand from the card, I trimmed it all out, found some words that said, then there was. So basically it says, and then there was, and then it's, coffee, the image of coffee. So it's kind of a play on words, but I really like how it looks. I mean, I could just imagine someone taking a picture of their Starbucks cup in the car and, and then all of a sudden you use that embellishment that says, and then there was coffee. Yes, there was. It was magically delivered to me inside my car. Anyways, the next little card, uber super simple. I let the card do all the work. Also too, for these mugs, instead of the cups, the mugs, I decided to print off some steam from my Cricut machine, and I just printed a small one and a large one, just to give it that little, like I'm a hot cup of coffee type steam. And I really think that it helps with the image, that I'm trying to portray, that this is a nice cup of coffee. So yeah, that's the only thing I pretty much added to what I didn't show you guys at the very beginning. So now I just took this I took this Project Life card and I cut it all up, and it says, loving every minute of this. And so I'm going to make it look like, I'm loving every minute of this cup of coffee. I know it's kind of a play on words, and it's, basically when I went through the entire little booklet of words, I probably could have made every word work towards coffee, because of the fact that it just depends on, how much of an addict are you, or, how much of it. So I've got a whole bunch of words that I have picked out, like life was meant for, and then of course I just, have to add it to a cup of coffee. I've got tasty, goodness, relax, the word words, because I was going to try to find the saying words are hard. But I couldn't find the word hard. I couldn't find the word tough. I'm like, these These words are no good. And then, of course, I've got focus and productive. The word was is for something different. And I had a notebook next to me as well, because every time I was playing around, another saying would pop in my brain that kind of represented coffee, and it was kind of like one of those things that, it's a necessity of life for some. And so it was just kind of one of those things that I didn't want to forget what the saying was. And if I wrote the words down, that I knew what I was looking for in the book, because they're not in alphabetical order, which was rude. Tim Holtz's are. Come on, get with the program. So I put the word this on top of the mug because of the fact that I wanted it to be like represented like this. I am loving every minute of this cup of coffee is basically what I wanted to do. And in order for me to put it partially on the cup and partially off, so it looks like it's part of the card, I had to pop it up on 3 layers of foam. And I know that 3 is quite big. And the angle that I'm holding it at does make it look like you could see the green, but you really can't if you're looking at it in other angles. Yes. Also, too, I stuck the steam like around and within the words, so it didn't take up all the words as well. This one is uber super simple. I covered up the coffee printed on, or the cup of coffee that was printed. I covered it up with a flare, and now I just picked out some hearts that I had in a little bowl left over from a previous project that I did this month, and just added it to, and there it is. It was adorable. Now here it was going to say keeping it real tasty, and then I thought, no, I'm going to take away the real and just have it keeping it tasty. I didn't understand the cupcake portion of why was this cupcake in with my coffee flare. It came with my coffee flare. I just didn't grasp that concept of why it was there. Does everyone eat cupcakes and coffee? I'm not really sure. I don't know the answer to that. So I'm trying to figure out how to make it work. And I realized that it was the size of cup that I was using. So I switched it out for a mug, and now it says keeping it real tasty. And then this is what life is all about. And I really like how it all came together now, as opposed to me trying to get that larger cup to fit. So I am going to bring in some steam, because I think that the steam is just helping with the flow. I really do like how it adds to the warmth of the cup. And then I do have to, because I only printed out so much steam for how many ever mugs I was going to use. So I do end up trading out a mug for a cup later. And I don't even remember which one it was. So just to let you know, I'm not cheating. So this one here, I cut out the word "oh yes" from a Pocket Life card, and it just says "oh yes" and then "ridiculously good" are some words that I found. Now by this time, I'm actually, because I got irritated that I couldn't find the words that I was looking for, plus the fact that they weren't in alphabetical order. It just seemed like it was taking forever for me to try and find which where these words were. And so I went to the Tim Holtz ones, and I have the large text and the small text. And so that's where the ridiculously good came from. So here's this. I just went ahead and put the life was meant for, and then I'm going to put this cup of coffee right in the center of this card, and that is going to be it. And by this point, I realized that those cups are missing something. So later, at the end of the video, I am going to, figure it out what it is that I felt like they were missing, and go ahead and add that to each cup. At the end, so that way you guys can see it. I think it's a perfect touch of what they're missing. So this one here, I went ahead and I used my X-Acto knife to cut out around a portion of the banner, so I could tuck my steam in behind the word smile, and then that way it wouldn't cover up the word smile. I just kind of wanted to make it look like it was part of the image. And at first I debated about cutting the whole part out, and I was just going to cut out the banner itself. And I thought, no. And then I was going to put the doily behind it, and I thought, no. So I didn't get a doily. It just got the card and the little steam. And I thought that was it. That's all it needed.
Here, I'm going to do the same thing. Wow, I'm totally out of frame, so I hope you guys enjoy the bottom of that coffee cup. But basically what I did was I just glued it to the side of the words that says good morning. So instead of good morning being at the bottom and reading like a book, I put it down the side and reading like the spine of a book. And then a coffee mug or a coffee cup on next to it. And then here's this one. I cut this card out down to size. I cut it down to 1 inch. It says truly perfect. And then I ran it through my, it's kind of like a label punch where it punches out the different sizes from 1/2 inch all the way up to 1 inch. In 2 different designs that you can have on either end. And so I went ahead and punched out this pocket card, and again, the 3 layers of foams, because I want it to be on top of the mug as opposed to, next to it or underneath it or, behind it, whatever. I just like how it's on top and the mug is behind. And I laid it on top of this doily because it kind of reminded me of like a restaurant where you have your coffee and then for some reason there's like a little doily underneath and then your mug. So that's kind of what that reminded me of. And for the bucket list, I am going to stamp coffee multiple times. Now I pulled out this stamp ahead of time because I knew I wanted to stamp the word coffee at least once. I just didn't know where until I got to this bucket list. Now my very first coffee didn't turn out all that great. Now the stamp itself says coffee helps. And what I basically did was I put the word coffee on the end of the edge of my block, and then I wrapped the word help around the block so that way I wouldn't ink it and I didn't have to use washi and get my fingers all nasty, any of that stuff. So I just stamped the word coffee 10 times because that is on my bucket list, to just drink coffee. And then I took my black marker and filled in the FEE that didn't stamp exactly, and I think it looks great. Turned out great. And the last one that I will be doing is today's menu. So for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and dessert, there's always room for coffee. That's kind of basically where I was going with this one as well. I'm going to take that leftover doily that was from the previous project and put it down at the bottom just for something different. It really had no serving purposes. I do like the little flare that had the little grinder on it. So here is how I'm going to remedy what I feel like is missing on these coffee cups is the little stopper that they put in there. So if you accidentally slosh it around, it doesn't spill on your hand. I really like this. And I decided to do it in green because, Starbucks is a thing and it was a scrap on my desk. It just happened to be perfect. I also am going to take my black marker on the lighter colors and trace around the lid as well as around the cup. And then, of course, my son comes in and is starting to ask questions. So I make sure, and this is my youngest son, by the way. Normally it's my oldest, and now this is my youngest. But I'm going to do this on all of them. And when I get to the 2 darker cups, I'm actually going to trace those out with a white gel pen. And because I'm trying to use, go around this blister and stuff like that, they're not perfect. But if I on purposely make it look messy, then it kind of looks better, if that makes any sense. So I was trying to start with just doing 1 line and that didn't work out. So when I went back through and did multiple lines, it made it look cartoony, like I did it on purpose. And the same with the gel pen. Because of the blisters, I had to hold it upright. And when I use a white gel pen, holding it upright is kind of where you get the dotted line effect instead of holding it at a 45 or an angle. It doesn't have to be exactly 45, so please don't measure. But when you hold it straight up and down, you don't get that solid line that you're looking for. But when you hold it at an angle, you do, because it's able to, the ball is able to roll past the white portion. And so that's it. Anyways, too much information about a white gel pen. So here is all the close-ups of every single card that I have created. I do also have a couple close-ups of where I took the last cups that are standalones that didn't have any cards or embellishments or anything to go with them. And I also put a stopper in them and I outlined around their bits and pieces too. Every single die that I have in this form of a coffee mug or cup, I feel like I have to do that, the tracing of everything with it, because then it brings it into that dimension of being a cup instead of just a weird image. So here they are, and thank you so much for watching. I will check you all tomorrow, and have a great day. Bye.